first pro of living in Mexico is that life here feels so much less stressful and so much more laid back than in other parts of the world, especially North America, like the US and Canada. Granted, we are technically in North America, but what most people consider to be North America, specifically the English speaking North America. I find that the US, where I've lived the majority of my life, has a much faster pace of life. It's much more stressful there. You're dealing with things like rush hour traffic. Um, you're dealing with things like people being a lot of the times just way more
Anxious.
anxious, uptight, uh, kind of in each other's, what's the word? Uh,
Each other's what?
in each other's space, but not necessarily in a good way. It's kind of like everybody competing for
Yes.
resources, for status, for money, and it's kind of the zero sum game that you experience a lot in the U.S. and in a lot of other parts that one might consider to be the West.
And I'm from Miami, which if anybody's ever been to Miami, and I mean real Miami, not South Beach, if anybody's ever been to Miami, you know it's mostly Latinos, so it feels a little bit different than the rest of the United States. Miami has more of a Latin Caribbean vibe to it, but it still has that undercurrent of constant stress and anxiety, which my parents being Cuban, most Latino immigrants to the United States, it's one of the first things that they notice is how anxious Americans are. And a lot of Latin comedians in the United States make jokes about how in Latin America, Latinos are like super chill, but then as soon as they get to the United States, everyone becomes an asshole. Because life in the US can be very stressful.